Hello everybody, SirMonkeySuit back again with my hero. Fucking finally, we had a 2 week break for the dub. It was going up like it was simul dub essentially for the first 11 episodes. So they were coming out like the same day as the original was, and they had to take a 2 week break. I was expecting them to only do it up to like episode 6. I think that's what they said, but they managed to push it forward up until episode 11. So I was expecting it to come at some point. So you know what I mean. I wasn't too pissed, but like Jesus Christ, I mean at least they got up to episode 11 because it felt like a sort of a good place to stop. Like if they'd stopped like in episode 10, I would have been pissed. I would have been so pissed. But you know what I mean. Episode 11 was a good cut-off point, so it was alright. You know, it was I could deal with it. But we're back. Fucking finally. I just love the show so much. Alright, so yeah, last episode was a fucking it was incredibly emotional. Like that was a fucking real good episode. The past few episodes for this have been great. I'm really happy that this show is like continuously getting better. Like, you know, with season 1 and you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. And then you get an episode 2 and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you get episode 3 and you're like, oh it just keeps going. It keeps rising. It's mental. So that's still pushing that boundary, you know what I mean? It's just still just rising, and it's really nice to see that has not been there's not been like a slow point yet since I've started. You know what I mean? I've loved everything. You could argue like the one that kind of dipped was the one that people call like the filler episode, where what was it, like episode 19 of season 2, where like you're mostly off with Froppy and whatnot. But you know what I mean? This show is really good for its characters, so you know what I mean. It wasn't as much of a filler as I think people think it is, but it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, last episode obviously was the whole the end of the All Might versus All for One, and seemingly the end of All Might's reign as the symbol of peace. Which really got to me. Like if you haven't seen my reaction to that one, that one was tough. You know what I mean? Because like, you know what I mean. I think I said this in the last video I did of my hero, but I feel like I've almost taken All Might for granted. This whole, you know what I mean. This whole time I've been watching this, you know what I mean. And I've put like characters. I've always talked about the characters that seemingly to me was like, oh, they matter because they are growing. Like I never really give as much credit to the heroes that are there now, you know what I mean, and doing the job now. And I think mostly that is down to the fact that you don't really see them like doing like their day-to-day job, because they are teachers essentially, the ones that we are seeing anyway. On an episode basis. So yeah, like aside from like episode 12 and season 1, and you know what I mean, like All Might kind of taking like a back seat, and like he's a bit more on the obviously the teaching side, like trying to coach Deku and stuff like that, and trying to mentor him. Yeah, I feel like I've taken them for granted, and now that I've lost them, as a symbol of peace, it was heartbreaking, it was horrible, it was sad. And I felt it, I really did feel it. I'm just thinking, I didn't write this down, but I remember people were talking about the end of that episode, how when Bakugo looked over at the Deku and whatnot, and he had this sort of like a sort of look that you don't really get from Bakugo when he's looking at Deku, which is a sort of like more like a somber sort of like, oh, you were telling the truth. That is in regards to episode 8, which is like sort of like Bakugo's big turning point when people kind of understand him more in season 1. When Deku goes to him and tells him it's like this was borrowed power, like this isn't a quirk I was born with, I was given it. And people were thinking that maybe that is Bakugo realizing that everything Deku said was true. And it's interesting to think, how will Bakugo take that? Bakugo, that's what I said. Bakugo. It'll be interesting to see how Bakugo thinks of that and how he'll sort of react to it. If that is indeed what that was for, I want to know what his feeling is about it. I think it'll probably bolster that sort of rivalry thing that they've got going on, because obviously Bakugo having this this pillar that is All Might as the you know what I mean, he is the very, very top. You know what I mean? He's the wall that that he needs to climb over to be the best. And now that that's past, now that, you know what I mean, he can't essentially, like, obviously, like, essentially, he can't really pass All Might on that regard because, well, he's God now. So it's on to Deku now, essentially. So I think it'll bolster that rivalry. But yeah, this is all leading to interesting stuff, I think, especially in character development and things. It'll be interesting to see how Bakugo is now after all of that. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the other characters are handled because of what they've went through. Because, you know what I mean, the whole sort of law thing that they had going on. It'll be interesting to see how they interact with their other classmates and things, and obviously the other teachers as well. So yeah. So yeah, All For One is captured. He has that power though, doesn't he? He has that power to sort of teleport things. Although I don't know if it's like teleport thing. Was it teleport him? Like he could teleport things to a certain location, but he can't teleport himself away. I guess that's how it works. But I don't know why he couldn't though. I mean, the thing is, he's captured. He's not dead. So, you know what I mean? I can't. I just don't see him staying in a cell for the rest, like, of the show. Like, he's clearly getting out at some point, with the help of Kurogiri, I guess. And yeah, there was one thing I did write down that I did not note when I was taking notes in the episode. Obviously, it was very emotional, so it was kind of like taking me over that, so I couldn't really figure out what exactly was like, I wasn't picking up like the details, I was just kind of involved in it. It was flicking through different different students and stuff pretty early on in the episode, I think, and it went through like Uraraka, Froppy, Mineta was there, and Oyama was there. And I was having a discussion with, I believe, Caliban on Discord, I think it was, about Oyama and where it looks like what his house looks like, and in regards to how his living situation is. And I think it's interesting for his character. You know how he's all sort of like, he's almost like a posh rich kid kind of thing. Like, that's the vibe that he gives off. You know what I mean? Very very sort of about himself. He's very sort of what's the word? Is it pretentious that I'm looking for? But he's very out there in terms of like almost like he has some sort of like nobility feeling about him. But the place in which he was in sort of looked a bit more tattered. Like his house seems a bit more on maybe the more poor side, and I wonder if that is a big part of his character, and I think it'd be great actually, because it'll really give us an idea of like Ioma as like wanting to put on this face of, you know what I mean, of being the opposite of what he is, which is quite poor. It'll be nice. It'll be nice because I love character development. I love that kind of stuff, especially for like side characters. And I think that this show does it well with their side characters in doing that. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. You know what I mean? The fact that he acts like this sort of very well-off rich kid, but in reality, like, he's kind of not. And I think that that'll be really cool because we've only had that that different style of seeing a different side of Ayama during the when they were in the forest, and he was on his own with Jiro and I can't remember who the other one was, but they were knocked out and he was like alone, and he was actually frightened and like he was afraid, and it was a nice thing to see, like that different side of him. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, I wrote it down, so I thought I'd pick it up because I didn't touch on it in the last episode. Anyway, that was a long pre-discussion thing, but you know what I mean. I haven't seen this in weeks, so you know what I mean. I kind of had to sort of, you know, remind myself and everything like that. So anyway, without further ado, episode 12, let's go. All right, episode 12. Oh god, another great episode. You know, that whole thing of going around the different students' places and obviously trying to get them into a dorm was great. I loved it. Obviously extremely like when Inko, Deku's mother, was going on about it and saying no and stuff like that, I was finding it hard to disagree with her, really. But you know, I think it's it kind of brought it closer to home, you know. I think, and I'm not sure if it's on purpose, but well, first of all, everyone really likes Deku's mother. You know what I mean? Like she's an absolute sweetheart. Like I don't know anybody who doesn't like her. But I think, like, just like Deku says, you know what I mean, he hasn't really been paying attention to like his mother and what she's feeling. I feel like maybe as like the storytelling also forces the audience to like not either. I think it's easy to just get kind of like swept up in like, oh, whatever Deku's doing, you know what I mean, it's fine with me, because to us, you know what I mean, like we are aware of what shonen is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Deku's not gonna go and die. You know what I mean? Or anything like that. But you know what I mean? I think it's better to not look at a story like that and be like, you know what I mean? Oh, I know what's gonna happen, because you know what I mean. If this was to happen, then you couldn't happen. I think it's best to just try your best to take that out of your mind and just live vicariously like through the characters, because as soon as you can do that, you can really sort of get a feel for what the characters are and why they do the things they do and why they feel the things they feel. And when Inko was going on about it, like, you know what I mean, I was sitting here, I was quiet because I couldn't really say anything against it. You know, it's true. You know, like ever since he's got this power, you know what I mean, he's always in the hospital. You know what I mean, he's always injured. So you know, it would make sense. But obviously, she was like, as a worried parent, she was obviously looking at the negatives about it. I think it was interesting that Deku ran out, got the letter from bloody, what's his name? God's sake, I can't even remember. Begins with a K, don't it? Where is it? Where is it? Kota. Yes, Kota. Yeah, the letter the Kota wrote him, and sort of showed her the positives, the impact. Of course, it's like, you know, as is human nature, it's sort of selfishness. You know what I mean? We are, as a species, inherently selfish. You know, so obviously we, you know what I mean? Like, as a parent, you wouldn't be caring about, like, you know what I mean? What, like, the people that she doesn't know, strangers. You know what I mean? Obviously, she thinks it's a good deed, but if it means that her son has to be hurt in order for her to do it, she would rather it didn't happen. You know, and I think that was really important what All Might did afterwards, because I think even if he, like, it was just showing the letter and that was it still wouldn't have got through to her. So I think it was important for All Might to go all out, you know, and swear he's sort of, like, you know, undying loyalty, protect Midoriya, and did that thing, and they did this with Hans in Attack on Titan. By the way, spoilers for Attack on Titan. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to say something. So, you know what I mean, you've got 5 seconds. I'll hold up my app. I'll give it a thumbs up when I'm finished talking about it. So if you just want to mute the video, then you can do. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, it's just like Hans with the whole, you know what I mean, like, I would give my own life to die before any of this happens, and it's sort of like, it's that foreshadowing thing, and it's not good. It's not a good feeling, because, you know, with Shigaraki being, you know what I mean, as the after credit scenes suggest, it's Shigaraki is a hell of a lot more angered now. You know, even if I mean, beforehand, if All Might was to go to Shigaraki and explain all of this, you know what I mean, that he is Shimura's, is it grandson? It is grandson, isn't it? Yeah. You know what I mean, I still think, like, if he'd done that before, it still wouldn't have been, like, enough. But now it's literally gonna do nothing. I think if he was to tell Shigaraki about it now, it would be worse. I think he would just get even more agitated, because I feel like he would feel like, oh no, you're just telling lies, you're telling bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, you would start feeling maybe for the first time, Shigaraki would actually see somebody else as, like, evil. You know? I think it's interesting to sort of see it from, try and see it from his point of view. You know, the fact that, you know, when we look at it, you know what I mean, it's clearly obvious who the heroes and the villains are. But an interesting perspective to really look at is go to the villains' side, try and fit in their shoes and see what they see. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time you'll find some villains, you know what I mean, they are so righteous in their head that they believe that they are doing the right thing, so they would never see themselves as evil. I think Shigaraki does. However, I don't think he's ever been at a point where, like, he would look at somebody else and think that they are evil. I think if All Might was to go to him and try and, like, explain to him this truth, Shigaraki would actually get a hell of a lot, like get agitated and feel like, you know what I mean, he'd be like, you bastard, you fuck, you know what I mean, like, because it would be more like, instead of All Might as you would normally do it, you know what I mean, I think, you know what I mean, it's almost like a manipulation as opposed to like what All Might would normally do, which was like just straight up, you know, defend and fight for justice and being a symbol of peace, as opposed to like what he would have to do now because he can't fight, which was, you know what I mean, which to Shigaraki would seem like manipulation. And I wonder if he would ever look at I wonder if Shigaraki would ever look at like somebody who's obviously on the opposite side and think they are evil, you know. It's an interesting concept, you know, the idea of like a villain thinking that like they are the hero and then they are fighting off against the villain, you know. It's an interesting concept, and it deals with a lot of people's ideals and stuff, and the fact that, you know what I mean, everyone's the hero of their own story essentially. But yeah, the very beginning, you know what I mean, they were saying, yeah, that's it, All Might is done. You know what I mean, people are breaking down because they don't have the symbol of peace anymore, and it really puts it into perspective exactly what the symbol of peace is. Keyword being symbol. You know, just him being around, and you know what I mean, the idea that everyone's like, oh my god, look at this strong guy, he never loses, you know what I mean, we've got him forever, and as long as we have him, we'll be fine. Now that don't have him anymore, it's gone. And I think you know what I mean, because we've seen the weakness, like everybody in the public has seen his weakness, which is why he kept it secret, and it really brings it home, you know what I mean, that is the difference between All Might and Endeavor. You know what I mean? The fact that Endeavor is such a great hero, but obviously he's saved more. You know what I mean? He's took down more villains than what All Might has. Yet, you know what I mean, the public doesn't look to Endeavor to, like, for safety essentially. You know what I mean? Like they look at All Might as the similar piece, and that's the big difference between the two. You know what I mean? Like, people don't look at Endeavor and think, right, we are absolutely fine. We are going to be all right. You know, and yet, you know what I mean? It's sort of like, to me, I wrote down, well, he's still got Endeavor, because, I mean, as long as it's not up against All for One, I'd say Endeavor can still beat any of those villains, hands down. You know, so, but then again, all for One's just in prison. Like, I can see him getting broken out of there, and then what? You know. So yeah, what to say? Oh yeah, also that, in case everyone, I'm completely sorry, I completely forgot about that. Yeah. So Shimura put Shigaraki in foster care. But he is the grandson, right? He is Shimura's grandson, not son, right? I'm sure he is. Yeah, grandson. So, but they said when Shimura's significant other passed away, right? Or did they say Shigaraki's father? I think they said Shimura's significant other. So Nana Shimura's husband or boyfriend or something, right? If that's the case, and if they were talking about Shimura's significant other, then why would she put? I mean, I get it, but then I'm just interested to see, like, why is it up to Nana Shimura to do it as opposed to his actual parents? You know? Because I wrote down the hand that Shigaraki has on, he doesn't have it anymore because it dropped through before he went through the portal, right? And I figured that was some symbolization kind of thing, and where like Shigaraki had a sort of more fatherly figure out of All For One, I feel like. So the father hand just was gone at that point. But I wrote down, so the father hand isn't actually Shigaraki's true father then, it's his foster father's? I don't know. Damn it. I'll have to see. Yep, dorm system, so everyone's getting put in a dorm. I'm like... I'm sort of like, I'm wondering, they're putting everyone in a dorm as a sort of safety mechanism, I guess. But is that really safe to put all of the students in one place? I don't know. I'm not sure about that, because last time they did that was in the forest, and then they just got swarmed. And that's why Deku is the way that he is now, because of that. So I'm not sure that is a, like, not a very good safety mechanism. I mean, I guess it makes the families of the students more safe, but the students themselves, I'm not sure. If the enemy knows about that, the dorm thing, then that could be bad. Bakugo's mother and father, great. I love it. I fucking love it. Fucking Bakugo's mother, by the way. Damn. Fucking honestly, I love it. I love it so much. It's great. It's so good. I love the fact that Bakugo's dad's like so. I love that he's so different. Like Bakugo's mother. Yes, like I can see that a mile off. Like I can see that is definitely she is Bakugo's mother, and that's probably where he gets a lot of his a lot of his tendencies from. But damn, she's definitely the MILF of this. Definitely. But I love the fact that his dad's like so somber and so like laid back to the I'm just looking at it, right, and it's like that mother the mother wears the pants in that family. Absolutely no questions asked. Like you know what I mean? Like damn. Like, it wouldn't surprise me like if Bakugo's mom, did we get our name? I don't think we did we? I'm not sure we did. Anyway, Bakugo's mom, like I feel like however that went down, I have no idea. Like how they got together. I wonder if I feel like Bakugo's mother was like the one that actually went and asked him out, as opposed to like where it would normally be like the other way, especially in Japanese culture. You know what I mean? Generally, it's the man that has to like step up and ask. But I feel like it would be the other way. I love the dynamic of his dad being so fucking. Oh, I just love it. I love it. It's great. And also, Bakugo was wearing like I am 100%. That shirt the Batgirl is wearing is absolutely a Punisher shirt. Like, you know what I mean? I guarantee it is. You know what I mean? It's obviously not like true Punisher because copyright and shit, but that's definitely what it means. They've done a lot of Easter eggs relating to other stuff in the show. I guarantee that's another one of them. And honestly, if we are relating Batgirl to the Punisher, I am absolutely fine with that because the Punisher's fucking deadly and I love him. But yeah, Bakugo's mother confirmed like Bakugo's upbringing. Like the reason why that he is the way he is because he was fucking praised from an early age. Like he could take on the world. He was a fucking king. He had the best quirk. You know what I mean? The reason why he's so uptight and he's so, you know what I mean? Yeah, he might have, like, beforehand, you know what I mean? He had that. He would have had that sort of over the top, more like angry sort of persona. You know what I mean? Like shit. Once again, another episode where I can't remember the fucking word. I can't remember, but you know that he'd still act like over the top and fucking hell, I can't think of it. I can't think of it. Very fiery, you know, like I guess that kind of word. Yeah, he'd be very fiery, just like the mother is. You know what I mean? So he would have had that growing up, I guarantee. But you know what I mean? It was just enhanced by that upbringing, being told that you could take on the world. So it's nice for it to be confirmed, because I mean I found it was pretty straightforward from episode 7 and 8, you know, of season 1. But you know what I mean, for those who weren't too sure or just didn't pick up on it, well, there you go, that's confirmed. It's going to be interesting to see how Deku actually does things now, because we've had this whole thing with Inko and All Might having that sort of that chat about him moving into the dorms and being at UA and stuff. Because in the past, it doesn't take long for shit to kick off. And then Deku's like the first one to go in and, you know what I mean, fucking break himself to, you know what I mean, and just basically go beyond. This could change a lot. This could change a lot of things. Because I would think that Deku now is going to take on a more tempered approach, like a more sort of calculated and a bit less more reckless, because All Might saying, you know what I mean, on the beach, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you went out of your way, and you know what I mean, you don't listen to us and whatever, and you just go out and you break your body. But this time you did it, and you went out and you saved your friend, and you didn't get hurt because of it. So I wonder if that's a mentality that Deku's going to do now. And maybe, I mean, I don't know how you do this without, like, sacrificing that whole Deku, like, one-on-one fight shit. You know what I mean? Where he literally goes all out in the and it's great seeing them, like, in that one-on-one fight mode. But I'm wondering, because of what, because All Might said that, and you know, and All Might was saying you've gone down your own path now, and it's not about living up to All Might, or, you know, doing everything that All Might does, doing the way All Might does things, that he's going down his own path. Is this how he does it? Is it going to be more calculated, and, like, if he is strategic, how does he do it? How does he go about it? Because as a protagonist in a shonen, you can live for those one-on-one fights. And if they're not going to be there, I don't know. But this show has sort of given you some expectation, you know what I mean? It's kind of, you know, it's broken down some walls in regards to what we expect from a shonen, you know what I mean? Like, some of the cliche tropes aren't as prevalent in this as they are in other shows. So, you know what I mean? If that is the route they went down, it would definitely be very interesting, because I feel like while Deku might change his style up to be more smart, strategic, and in any way that he can't get hurt, that's how he ends up doing it. You've still got people like Bakugo and Shoto who can go out in like all-out fights. So, you know what I mean? Because that's the beauty of the show, is because of the characters, they are that strong. You can have them like come into the forefront. It doesn't always have to be Deku doing everything, you know, which is great. So yeah, we've got Tartarus Prison. That is where All for One's being held. I imagine it's probably going to be like the Raft in the Marvel universe. Probably another little Easter egg kind of thing. Although if they were going to call it like, I guess if they were going to make it an Easter egg, it would have been more obvious. But you know what I mean, it's something similar to that. You know what I mean, essentially a super prison where all of the worst villains go, kind of thing. And finally, again, they do this a lot, but they show the similarities between the villains, the heroes and the villains. So obviously last episode it was It's Your Turn from All Might to Deku. End of this episode, it's from All for One to Shigaraki. You know what I mean? It's your turn. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going. But like, you know what I mean? It's great to see that like even like a down, like sort of chill episode from the episodes that we've got, that we've had. So like, but it's great to see like such a chill, relaxed sort of episode away from them that is still great. You know what I mean? Like, I think this as an episode of itself, because they put in so much emotion into it, and like there's still stakes there, even though they're not the typical, like atypical stakes of like a fight. You know what I mean? I think everything in the show is so like well put together that, you know what I mean, even the episodes that you would consider like more slower or less epic still are so good.